We're here.
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 To empower our young people.
To improve our well-being.
To inspire action.
To strengthen our community.
You know, we're not all alike.
We come from different backgrounds,
different generations,
different perspectives. But we are here together.
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 To make sure that we all have the opportunities
and relationships
and resources we need to thrive.
The why. For a better us.
Welcome to the YMCA Key Leaders Luncheon. We are so excited for you to join us today in person. I am Jill Magnuson, Director of External Affairs at the Nasher Sculpture Center and immediate past chair for the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas Association Board. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage, you know her, you love her, WFAA anchor and community leader, Cynthia Izaguirre, as our luncheon's host.
Jill, thank you for that wonderful introduction. How's everyone feeling this morning? Or almost after, well, it's afternoon now. It's afternoon and we've got coffee stations out there. Do you want to hear it for the Hilton Anatole or what? It reminds me, I was put in charge to organize a team builder breakfast. Gosh, it's been 10, 11 years ago for News 8 Daybreak when I was on the morning show. So at the time, I didn't drink coffee. I didn't start drinking coffee until I had the twins 10 years ago. Parents, you understand why. And I organized this event, and the caterers asked, okay, well, how much coffee do you want? Again, I didn't drink coffee. I'm like, we won't need coffee, just OJ. They were like, really? Okay. So organized it. Day of the breakfast. Everyone's asking for coffee. The caterers have left. I'm like, I didn't order coffee. There's a ton of OJ. Meteorologist Greg Fields didn't speak to me for a week after that. He's like, you did a breakfast without coffee? Never again will you organize a breakfast for us. I'm like, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, truly, we are so thankful that you are all joining us for the YMCA's 2022 Key Leaders Luncheon. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day on this beautiful fall afternoon and out of your busy schedules to make your way here to the Hilton Anatole to talk about really some very important things that we can all relate to. But first, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome some very special guests. All of us are special. These just have that extra twinkle today. So if you are a first responder, healthcare worker, or elected official, please raise your hand. We want to give you a round of applause. First responders, healthcare workers, elected, thank you for everything you do to keep us protected here in North Texas, and especially to our first responders. Please know that you have our support. And this afternoon, if you are a part of the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas Board of Directors, raise your hand so that we can applaud you as well. There you are. Lots of hands. And if you are a board of manager at a local YMCA, please raise your hand. Welcome this afternoon. And finally, we would like to welcome two YMCA CEOs. Mike Brown, YMCA of Metropolitan Fort Worth. Where are you, Mike? There he is, way back over there. And Cindy Pearsall, Palestine YMCA, here from East Texas. Where are you, hon? There she is. And before we officially begin our program, let's hear an invocation from Al Montoya. Al is the first native Spanish-speaking player in the National Hockey League and currently serves as the Director of Community Outreach for the Dallas Stars.
Thank you, everybody. Quickly, I guess my story's a little different because I'm Cuban American and I would feel like I was born with an espresso in my hand. I'd like to thank everybody in this room for being here today, for keeping the conversation going on mental health and well-being of our children and our youth, to congratulate the YMCA for being leaders. The importance of this can't be understated. For myself, what was the YMCA, mental health, well-being, what it did for me, a little story on my background. I was the first Cuban American to play in the National Hockey League. Raised by a single parent, my mother, who fled communism Cuba in 1963 with my grandparents to give these grandchildren that they never met a better life. My career, I spent 15 beautiful years living out my dream in the National Hockey League. It really was the YMCA and organizations that like this that allowed me to assimilate, allowed me to strengthen my mental health. I think about Chicago during the 90s, being raised by this single parent, my mother, Dr. Silva, you know, the sacrifices that she made so we weren't, you know, sports wasn't on TV at my house every single day. You know, we were in the streets playing, you know, being taken care of and all these sacrifices made. But I think about the 90s in Chicago, and you have these refugees, my family, my mother, gathered around the TV watching Michael Jordan play basketball. And you can imagine as a youth, and you've seen your mom engage with this sport, and me as a child, I wanted to do and connect with my mother, and it was me and basketball and the YMCA where really I got to live out that experience. I got to strengthen my mental health. You know, I couldn't play for the Park District, I couldn't play locally. It was the YMCA, you know, some of my first experiences playing basketball. You gotta imagine, in the Spanish household that I grew up in, stepping out into this Irish Catholic neighborhood, it was culture shock. So really it was sport where I could strengthen my mental health, where I could really be myself, that universal language of sports. So it is important to continue going in everything that the Y does, and these organizations, I can't stress the importance of it. And now it's come full circle because my kids are at the Y, and they're doing the same thing, and I couldn't be more proud to be part of such a great organization like this. So thank you everyone for being here today, and if you can join me in a quick prayer, let's bless this food, please. Thank you for everyone for being here, our partners, the Y, for putting this event on today, for highlighting the importance of our health and well-being. Bless the food, thinking of those that are with us and those that aren't with us today. Amen. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. So please enjoy your meals as this program continues, and the program will continue, and I love it when the program goes on as we get a chance to go ahead and start eating our food. Speaking of the food, can we please recognize our servers here today? They're working so hard for us, and let them know we appreciate them. And I am really appreciative of being here today. As I was speaking with some of my colleagues here at the table, mental health, like I said, is something we can all relate to, and this really hit home for me when we went to adopt my little Henry, who's now 5. So I have biological twins who are 10, like I said earlier, and my husband and I do the Wednesday's child reports. Long story short, there was a child who started growing in my heart for many, many years, and in the heart of my husband. And we knew that we could do more than just Wednesday's child reports, so we moved to adopt a child from foster care. In preparation to adopt Henry, we signed up through the Gladney Center for Adoption, and I couldn't believe, the training we got was immeasurable. We learned about the development of the brain, and we learned about mental health, and we learned about the rewiring of the brain. and how to work with children with trauma. And I thought, I can't believe I didn't learn any of this when my twins were being born. I could have used all of this information. Bottom line, I learned that love helps to develop the brain. And I learned that we can always rewire our brains, whether you are 5 or whether you are 75, 85. So thank you for making this a priority in your life today and coming together so that we can talk about mental health, but more importantly, leave here feeling like we leave with solutions. And like Al said, the Y is a big part of the solution. The Y has always played a critical role in supporting families and in communities. My co-anchor, Chris Lawrence, he uses the Y. I believe he lives in the Lake Dallas area, and he says, Cynthia, my family and I depend on the Y. Everything we do is through the Y. We work out there, the kids take classes there, they take their swimming classes there. And it takes organizations like the Y truly to fill in the gaps to help make North Texas a wonderful place to live. But the Y's work is possible thanks to many supporting partners and organizations like the ones who sponsor today's luncheon. So let's please begin by thanking Southwest Airlines. Presenting sponsor for this year's luncheon. And for more about Southwest Airlines, you can turn your attention to the screen and welcome to the stage Melanie O'Brien, Community Outreach Manager for Southwest Airlines.
At Southwest Airlines, when we come together to lift each other up, the heart of the community thrives. For us at Southwest, Dallas is more than a destination. It's home.
Hi, thank you all for being here today. I have the privilege and honor of being here representing the community outreach team at Southwest Airlines. For over 50 years, Southwest has been proud to call Dallas home. With 195 daily departures from left field, we fulfill our purpose of connecting you to what's most important in your lives. Our symbol's the heart because we strive to not only be an airline, but your neighbor. We have 13,000 employees here in Dallas who pride themselves in delivering world-class kindness and hospitality, whether in the air or on the ground. We're proud to partner with the Y of Dallas as they provide programs that build healthy minds, bodies, and spirits for all. Over the last year, we've collaborated with the Y to create some life-changing experiences for students through the provision of flights for Y achievers to visit college campuses. For some of these students, their visit was an opportunity to see a part of the world they'd never seen before. And for others, it was their very first flight. Flights were also used to support the Y's Youth in Government program. This program provides students with the opportunity to attend conferences focused on the importance of civic engagement. Southwest is thrilled to be here today as the presenting sponsor of the Key Leaders Luncheon. We're so grateful to each and every one of you today to support the incredible work of the Y. For this time, and also to be here for this very timely conversation about the mental health and well-being of our youth. To say thank you for your support, we have a special surprise for you. Holiday travels are right around the corner, and we thought we'd help some of you out. Under one seat at each table, we've placed a $100 gift card. So enjoy the rest of the program, and have a great afternoon.
Wait a minute. Let's show Melanie some love, y'all. Okay, that was a really cool surprise. I'm real excited. Can we all give Southwest Airlines a round of applause? I'm loving it. You should see y'all from my perspective. Okay, this is great. All right, so y'all tell me, do I need to put this on the news, what Southwest Airlines did today? All right, can you pass me my phone, please? It's okay to go in my, all right, we're gonna do a video, y'all. This is too much. I've been attending events in Dallas for 15 years now, and no one has ever done this cool of a surprise. And of course, it would be Southwest Airlines. So at the count of 3, I want everyone collectively to say, thank you, Southwest Airlines. Can we handle that? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna do that, and y'all are gonna say, thank you, Southwest Airlines. Let's practice once. 3, 2, 1. Love it. Now we're gonna do it for real, and I want you to do it like we're on steroids here, okay? In 3, 2, 1. Sorry, let's do it one more time. Don't forget to applaud right after. 3, 2, 1. Okay, y'all are awesome. That'll be on the news tonight. Well, next, we would like to thank DCEO Magazine and Whitley Penn for their continuous partnership with the Y. We have short videos to show about these truly esteemed organizations.
Extraordinary times call for extraordinary leadership and community. Through engrossing features and profiles every month, daily content online, and award-winning events, DCEO Magazine connects the most respected and relevant business leaders in Dallas. From our nonprofit and corporate citizenship awards to our women's leadership and diversity, inclusion, and impact symposiums, we bring together, educate, and ultimately inspire leaders to create a better workplace for everyone. Because where the Dallas business community goes, others will follow. Join us, partner with DCEO, and help shape the future of business in North Texas. Go to dmagazine.com/DCEO Media to learn more.
Hello, my name is Felix Lozano, and I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Whitley Penn and incoming Chairman for the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas. Thank you for joining us at this year's Key Leaders Luncheon. With more than 20 years of service, I can confidently say that the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas provides countless hours and resources to make an impactful difference in our community. Now more than ever, we're realizing the importance of mental health and wellness. I'm proud to volunteer for the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas, an organization that values and focuses on mental health, overall well-being, and giving back. We're thrilled to have such a wonderful lineup of speakers and specialists on this topic today. I hope you enjoy our program.
Thank you again to our sponsors. They and everyone here in the audience today play a major role in making the important work of the YMCA possible. And one of my favorite things about the Y is that the important work they do is always changing. I tell my children this all the time. We have got to learn how to pivot in life. And it changes to meet community needs, changes to engage new audiences, and most of all, the YMCA changes to make an impact. One of the newest initiatives that really I'm particularly excited about when I read about it is about the mobile Y. How many of you have heard about the mobile Y? Yes. So please turn your attention to the screens to see the fun that is happening with the Y on Wheels. And following the video, Kurt Hazelbaker, President and CEO of the Dallas YMCA, will share some accomplishments.
This big old truck came to our YMCA camp today. It was like so much fun.
The kids love the Tech Hub. They love video games a lot.
When you're playing with someone, you get to like talk to someone while you're playing. Instead of when you're playing by yourself, you don't get to talk to anybody.
The YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas is looking for ways to connect outside of our four walls. So with the launching of the Mobile Y, we're able to take the YMCA out into the community, into areas that have low resources.
So our Mobile Y, our tech hub, gives us the opportunity to go to where people are at and teach them STEM, start with the little ones, all the way up to, we've had senior citizens learning STEM, learning coding. We can do all of that through our tech hub.
It's important that we have organizations like the YMCA that are able to partner with the city to address some of the issues and challenges. So we're excited to be able to work with the Y to see this great solution to our issue as relates to the digital divide we have here in Dallas.
Our young people today, they build community online, and this tech hub will allow us to be able to do this in a great way.
Learning about science, math, and technology and stuff like that, it's pretty fun. We love science.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today, and Cynthia, thank you for the introduction. The Y is no stranger to mobilizing to meet community need. I'm proud of the work we have done over the last several years and grateful to Mackenzie Scott for recognizing our work. Thanks to her $10 million gift, the future is bright in North Texas. Yeah, worth clapping for. Proceeds were invested in two components. As you just watched, our Mobile Y's Tech Hub is already making an impact in the community. The Tech Hub is designed to counteract the digital divide in North Texas and provides an on-the-go interactive learning environment for youth interested in STEM education, including labs in robotics, coding, and chemistry experiments, as you saw in the video, esports, including PlayStation 5s, a VR station, and Nintendo Switches. The truck can fit up to 28 children who can view and play on 7 big-screen HD TVs. Our Mobile Y will also include a Rec Hub truck launching later this year. This Rec Hub will bring recreational play to communities without a Y facility. The second component is investing in a Virtual Y. Virtual Y brings on-demand group exercise classes, healthy recipes, sports tips, clinics, and more to Virtual Y members wherever they are. While these new initiatives are exciting and bode well for the future, I also believe strongly in our work that impacts families. Our Camp Kayana had another successful year. This 2-week program held at YMCA Camp Grady Spruce specializes in working with 10 to 14-year-olds who struggle keeping and maintaining a healthy weight. Collectively this summer, 17 campers lost 145 pounds. They averaged a loss of 8.5 pounds. Now that's worth clapping for these kids. They averaged losing 8.5 pounds each and an average decrease of their BMI by 4%. Yeah, we like that. We boosted the kids' confidence and they made a bunch of friendships. The WISE Summer Learning Academy aims to combat summer learning loss and ensure academic success in the coming school year and beyond. This past summer, the Y offered summer learning academies to 203 children in select schools in Dallas, Midlothian, and Richardson with some pretty incredible results. Literacy skills as evaluated in pre- and post-testing improved by 88%, and math skill scores improved by 85%. Pretty strong work through the schools. As an organization, thank you. As an organization, we know the positive impact programs like youth sports, swim lesson, and exercise classes have on the mental well-being of the families involved. But effects of the pandemic, pressures of the social media age, and our increasingly competitive society have made it evident that the Y should take a more active role in promoting mental health and wellness in our communities. Our vision is to invest in our organizational capacity to support our staff and evolve our culture around social emotional well-being. We are not only promoting physical health and bodies, but total wellness in spirit, mind, and body. This is why we are committing to investing $1.5 million over the next 3 years to train our staff in mental health first aid, pilot evidence-based programming in our Y facilities, create formal partnerships with collaborators, and provide on-site clinicians at several of our locations. Today's luncheon is a launching pad for our mental wellness work. We're excited to bring this panel of experts before you, as these are the types of partners and collaborators that we are seeking to establish to fortify our work in this space. This initiative is not only important to our staff, but our board of directors as well. Our board chair, Felix Lozano, has been instrumental in leading our board toward this goal. I would now like to introduce you to our board chair and chief growth officer at Whitley Penn, Felix Lozano.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, everybody. Melody, thank you for the Southwest Airlines tickets. What a great treat. I work for a CPA firm, so I don't have anything to give you right now. Maybe some advice later. Listen, thank you to all of our impact donors and partners who've really stepped it up over the last several years to help our North Texas communities. I have the pleasure to serve as the Dallas YMCA's Association Board Chair and as the Chief Growth Officer for Whitley Penn. The progression and sustainability of our communities is important to me personally, professionally, and as the chair of the board. 3 years ago, our board of directors began an effort to ensure all of our facilities are equitable, meet the needs of our children, adults, and seniors who call Southern Dallas home. To improve our facilities in Southern Dallas, we launched a $24 million campaign to rebuild Park South YMCA and to renovate, yes, and to renovate the Moreland Family YMCA at Oak Cliff. Thank you. To date, we have received $9 million from our board of directors, local companies, and foundations. So let's give them a big round of applause. We have more work to do, but I'm excited to see the work that comes to life in Southern Dallas, and particularly at our YMCAs. And I'm really grateful for the firsthand experience. You see, 4.5 miles south of here is Southern Dallas. The Park South YMCA is bordered by Eugene, Atlanta, Latimer, and Romaine streets. For me, that's my Saturday home away from home, if you know me. I have to tell you, Cynthia says that love can make a brain grow. And I would add, love can make a community grow. If you ever wondered, thank you. If you ever wondered the need of basic human needs, food, join me on a Saturday morning at South Dallas at Park South YMCA for the food distribution program. I don't think we've ever had to pile our kids in a car to head to a food pantry or go get in line for food. And if you have, God bless you. If you haven't, and you'd like to see what it feels like, join me on a Saturday morning. It will change your life, and you'll see just how much love can do once you pay attention. It's my pleasure working alongside so many individuals and organizations because of the amazing partnerships and leadership for those who've stepped up for people in need. We wanted to take some time to recognize those who've made an impact. Now, I have the distinct honor of presenting the 2022 Catalyst Advancing Equity Award to one deserving individual and one deserving organization. We felt it was important to recognize an individual and organization that's been crucial in advancing the Catalyst initiatives of the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas. Starting in March 2020, COVID-19 closed the doors to our traditional membership. The Catalyst Initiative refocused our staff and volunteers to help those most impacted by the pandemic, and we were all impacted, but for those most impacted. This award goes to an individual that has served on the T. Boone Pickens YMCA board for several years, but has taken her volunteer commitment to the next level. We would like to present the 2022 Catalyst Advancing Equity Award for an individual to Autumn Krause. Autumn is a partner in the Forensic Litigation Evaluation Department of Whitley Penn. Please watch the following video for highlighting Autumn's work.
My association with the YMCA is probably a little different than most. I was not a YMCA kid. I was at a networking event, and an older gentleman happened to be a YMCA board member, and so he was very successful in recruiting me to come on and work at T. Boone Pickens on their board. So I've been serving for the last 6 years, and this year is my first year to serve as the chairman of the board. I have had the opportunity to learn so many things about what the YMCA does that I didn't even realize they did. One of my true connections with the YMCA is on Saturday mornings at the Park South YMCA. They do food distribution to that neighborhood. Thank you. It is truly amazing to see the look on their face, just knowing that they're going to be able to feed their family for the week. It is really inspiring to see them and to help them.
Gracias.
Felix and I will get a couple trash bags and we walk through the neighborhood and clean up the neighborhood. And we've had a number of people that just come up and thank us so much. There's a lot of people that are somewhat disabled and really can't do that for their own neighborhood, so they really love seeing us out there. I've also been very fortunate and able to sit on the selection committee for scholarship recipients. It's amazing to hear their stories. They're so inspiring and really just energize me to continue to want to keep giving back to the YMCA and to this community. I know at the end of the day, my connection to the Y is going to continue to get stronger as I start to move towards retirement and continuing to now be blessed and have the ability to just keep giving back and pursuing the talents that I can with the YMCA and give them what they need as we go forward.
Well deserved. Thank you, Autumn, for your support for the Catalyst Initiative. And now, the award for an organization that's been instrumental in supporting Southern Dallas communities through food pantries and early childhood education programs for those in need. I'd like to present the 2022 Catalyst Advancing Equity Award for an organization in the city for good. Give them applause. Please watch the following brief video highlighting some of their work.
In the City for Good focuses its mission primarily in the South Dallas neighborhood surrounding Fair Park that are among the poorest in the city of Dallas. One of our first community partners in South Dallas was Outcry in the Barrio, a small but successful residential drug treatment program. Another South Dallas partner was the Park South YMCA. They asked In the City for Good to help acquire and develop a nearby abandoned property to house their expanded preschool. In the City for Good has now served this community for 23 years, and we are viewed as friends, not outsiders. The best example is the partnership we have developed with Miles of Freedom and Park South YMCA to deliver food and hygiene every Saturday. The Packages include bottles of laundry detergent, rolls of bathroom tissue, bars of soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, along with food supplied by the North Texas Food Bank. Another partner we are working with now is Cornerstone Church, who have developed a low-priced store so that people in the community can buy groceries and everyday needs at a very low price. Another project that we are very excited about is sending kids from this low-income community to Camp Grady Spruce. One mother said about her son that he had never had an experience like this in his life. He rarely traveled outside the neighborhood, but he got to swim, blob, learn to sail, zip line, learn new games, rode horses, but most importantly, made lifelong friends. I am sure that these kids' lives are now changed forever. And that's what we do at In the City for Good. Find ways to help, big and small.
Accepting the award is Terry Kittleson, President and CEO of In the City for Good. You know, it's been a pleasure seeing Terry out there every Saturday morning. Never fail, he's always there. Thank you to all of our partners who've helped to make a powerful impact. The Y's work is felt daily and empowers communities to learn, grow, and thrive. Our award winners today exemplify that support. Thank you all.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you, Felix. Congratulations, Autumn, and In the City for Good. Your work is admirable. At this time, I'd like to invite our panelists up to the stage. Y'all can come up this way, Sonya, and I'll introduce y'all, and we will get started with our discussion. The reason we are all here today to discuss mental health awareness and how the Y and all of our partners are working together to come up with solutions. Dr. Trivedi, you're next to me here. So Sonya Parker Goode is Director of Outreach and Education at Grant Halliburton Foundation. Dr. Madhukar Trivedi is Director of the Center for Depression Research and Clinical Care at UT Southwestern Medical Center. Dr. Jessica Gomez, licensed psychologist and Executive Director of Momentous Institute. Now, first of all, yes, a round of applause, please. It's a great panel of experts today, so I'd like to, first of all, take an opportunity to let each one of you, and we'll start with you, Dr. Gomez, to introduce yourself briefly.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here for this important conversation on mental health. As Cynthia said, I'm a psychologist by passion and life's calling, and get to lead the incredible work of Momentous Institute, who has been a nonprofit in Dallas for over 100 years, focused on mental health of children and families, education, and then training. How do we take that and export it and reach far more children than would ever come through our doors?
Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. I am so excited about sitting on a panel with Dr. Gomez and Dr. Trivedi. Thank you all for having me. I am with Grant Halliburton Foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit based out of Dallas, named after Grant Halliburton, who was a teen who battled mental health disorders until he was 19 when his life ended by suicide. We provide mental health education programs focused on bullying, resilience, teaching kids how to understand and recognize signs and symptoms of mental health. We also have our Here for Texas programs that we established years ago, one being our herefortexas.com website, which is a searchable database with over 900 service providers where families can go and access resources, as well as our mental health navigation line. We also have a couple of support opportunities for example, our Dad to Dad program, which is a quarterly speaker series where we invite dads to come and sit down and hear from a speaker to learn more about mental health issues. And personally, just a connection to our support group for moms, which is Coffee Days. We invite moms to come out and sit down and have a safe space, a confidential space to talk about resources and be able to just mingle with other women who are dealing with issues and dealing with their children who are suffering with mental health issues and substance abuse disorders.
Hello, I'm Madhukar Trivedi. I run the Center for Depression Research and Clinical Care at UT Southwestern. I'm a psychiatrist by training. I have spent a career doing a number of things to try to understand the causes and treatments for depression, anxiety. But my real dream is very simple, actually, and that is we, as a society, tend to focus on mental health only when there is a crisis. And we have to change it so that our vocabulary changes from not mental health and physical health as two different things, but health. And start early, because our kids, our children, and our young adults are really the ones who are suffering. Unlike a lot of medical illnesses that we talk about, like Alzheimer's, et cetera, this illness starts early. And we wait too long, and we just should not tolerate it.
And so, Dr. Trivedi, we will begin our discussion with you then. Can you define for the audience mental health and share with us what you are seeing statistics-wise?
So mental health, especially in the young, is really becoming a big, major problem. Just to give you simple numbers. 1 in 4 young people, teenagers, will experience depression or anxiety during their teenage years. There's 10 to 12-year gap between when teenagers start having problems and they get into treatment. Imagine, we would not tolerate this if this were breast cancer, but we do this all the time. In the United States, over the last 15 years, year-to-year rates of depression and suicide in teenagers have been going up, while across the Western world it is stable. So the numbers are staggering, and we are ignoring it, and we pay only attention to it when there is a crisis.
Dr. Gomez, our topic today is focused on youth. As a licensed psychologist, what challenges have you seen with our younger children?
Great question. Let's start with what children need. They need consistency, they need safe relationships, they need to know what to expect, and a safe community in order for them to thrive. Whole, not just their brain, but their whole. And so some of the trends I've been seeing, and I'm going to talk about the post-COVID era, because that really magnified and put a lens on mental health in a way that we've never seen before in the field of mental health. What do children need? They need all of that. And developmentally, they need context, they need relationships to thrive. And so the isolation we saw, Dr. Trivedi spoke a little bit about this, we're seeing skyrocketed mental health crises in depression, anxiety, more trauma than we've ever seen, families reporting this, suicide rates that are coming through the door. Now, I don't want to say all gloom and doom, because what we know is that the brain is resilient under the right conditions. So we are seeing that. And children need to be in proximity, in connection to others, in order to be healthy human beings.
I'd like to add to this issue of not being scared about the gloom and doom. I want you today to leave not being depressed about depression, folks. We have very good ways. We have solid ways to diagnose, solid ways to treat. They don't have to be medications. And in fact, what the Y does, we should have all kids do it. I think physical activity, routine, sleep, wake cycle, etc. But we have very good ways of diagnosing and treating. We're just ignoring it. If I can leave you with one message, don't ever explain away behavior by seeing teens being teens. If you see a change, if there is a change, there has to be some way to communicate with the teen. Maybe the parent is unable to, maybe find a substitute who can, somebody at the YMCA, somebody at a place of worship, but deal with that with the teenager. Don't write it off as teenagers being teenagers.
And Dr. Trivedi, that leads me to Sonya, who actually has dealt with a teenager with mental health challenges. And through the Grant Halliburton Foundation, we know that they support mental health, and they have mental health resources for youth and teens. Tell us what you and the foundation have experienced regarding mental health challenges with teenagers?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, being that sort of boots on the ground, going out into the schools, we serve schools all across North Texas. So we are able to talk with teens and educators and parents about what their children are experiencing. And we're hearing conversations about decreased socialization. And for me, when I think about that, we're talking about a time where socializing is so important for our teens, and we're seeing less and less of that. Increase in anxiety rates and depression. We got a call a couple of weeks ago from a school sharing with us that they wanted us to come out and talk to the kids about mental illness because they were seeing children as early as third graders talking about not wanting to live anymore and just wanting to give up on life. And so these are the types of issues that we are seeing and actually talking to our youth about. What's causing the depression? What's causing the anxiety? And to be honest, most of the kids are talking about the pressure of performing, the pressure of staying on top of everything.
Who's putting the pressure on them?
Teachers, parents. We're hearing this. Teachers, parents. It's just the pressure of life. And so what we are trying to help students be able to do is to build that resilience that Dr. Gomez talked about. We're trying to help them understand ways of just having, that downtime and that opportunity to push the pause button, take a moment, take a step back, and not feel so overwhelmed and not feel like they have to fill their schedules to capacity, because we are hearing more and more for them about the immense amount of pressure that they're under.
And I think you raised it right at the beginning. You can rewire. Brain can be rewired to build resilience, to build better circuits. We, in our research, are seeing this rapidly, that you can train teenagers or adults, but teenagers particularly, to start thinking in a more positive manner, get connected with folks, get a better way to deal with negative emotions, with negative stress. And really, social connectedness is the other issue why the pressure is more. Because social connectedness, unfortunately, in the age of social media, is very contradictory. They feel like they're connected. They're still at 2 a.m. trying to connect with people, but they're isolated. And so we have to provide an environment where there is connectedness so that it is not as isolating. Because social media, unfortunately, creates isolation.
So how do we provide that environment, Dr. Gomez? What is needed to support mental health challenges? How do we help the third grader that Sonya talked about?
Well, as I heard my peers speak about this, it's making that information digestible. What would happen? At Momentous, we equip our pre-K3 children to learn about their brains, to learn about where emotions live in the body, and what to do with it. What would have been like if you had that information starting in pre-K3? Can you imagine what a different environment? So I think making this information that we talk about, that we understand as professionals, digestible to all communities, and making it fun to learn. So if children are on social media, why isn't that information there? Why isn't it not in video games and the way that they speak their language? So I think we have to start there by having the conversations like this, where we're not afraid to talk about this. I grew up in a household where you don't talk about mental health outside of the house. You keep that there. But the more and more we highlight these conversations, we normalize them, that none of us is exempt from this. It exists on a spectrum.
Again, what we saw on the Camp Spruce example, I think that is the solution. That is a very good, solid idea of a solution where you start developing. It's not enough to just tell them you should be connected. You have to create the environment, which is what that camp did.
And I'd venture to say, I know we talk about creating the environment, but also modeling, modeling that behavior. I mean, we're the adult influencers in our kids' lives, and they are creating and recreating what they see being done by the adults in their lives. So if we start modeling what it looks like to better cope when there are stressful situations, because we will not avoid stress. Stress is a part of our daily lives. So if we start modeling how to cope and how to better deal with the day-to-day pressures, our kids are watching that. And if we start pushing pause buttons and taking time out, I have to, shout out to our CEO. We, implemented where we are giving 4 mental health days a year to our staff, to no questions asked. Just if you are having a bad season, it's a bad moment, and you just need to push a pause button and take a step back, we're going to honor that, because we have to start modeling for our children what it is that we're wanting to be done in their lives.
Nice job, Halliburton. Dr. Gomez, on that note, we can't forget about our educators and our child care workers. How do we begin to take care of these groups from a mental health standpoint?
Well, we realized how important and critical they are to our society in the past couple of years. We start by appreciating them, and it's a two-pronged solution too. Appreciating, but also looking at the structures. What are we putting on our educators and on the systems that have to take care of our children? Are they equipped with the right resources? And something that Sonya said that really stuck out to me, they are humans. We talk about mental health and relationships. This is a right brain to right brain connection. And so it's not just showing up with the skills and teaching math, it's relationships. How are the adults in the room feeling? How are teachers? They've been holding a lot. And I look around because I know there's educators here. They've been holding a lot and they can't hold it all. So do we put the proper supports in place in our schools, in our community centers, so that that is there? But I would say cup and saucer metaphor we talk about a lot is the adults are the saucer. Children are going to spill over and have big emotions, but if the adults aren't okay, the kids in our communities are not going to be.
But school environment.
Yeah, that's true.
The school environment is a very fertile ground for us to make a difference. That is where we can actually go in and help schools and students get resilience building programs in there for prevention. We are not doing it. As educators and school systems, we are focusing on, obviously, cognitive education, but not on mental health, right? 20 years back, 15 years back, the society decided that if a 10-year-old cannot see, they will not learn. So now every child gets a vision test and a hearing test. But we do not do that for mental health, and I think we have to go in. So we are, for example, through our center, now putting in 5-session resilience building programs in schools, and we've now reached about 20,000 students in North Texas. Great. And are taking this program statewide, so all across the state we're going to be doing it. That puts both the importance of this, builds resilience, and also brings in vocabulary so that everybody understands mental health wellness is as important as physical wellness.
So Dr. Trivedi, UT Southwestern leading the charge. How can businesses, schools, and other organizations lead that same charge? And I ask because before today's luncheon, I was speaking with Sonya, who shared with me that her husband lost 3 jobs while trying to take care of their teen with mental health challenges. He lost 3 jobs. Why weren't those jobs supporting that, your husband and the family?
I think you're hitting on an important thing that employers have begun to think about it, but they've not yet put into practice. Any given employer with, say, 100 employees, 15 to 20 of them will either themselves be struggling with this or their family, and that has a big impact on your bottom line. So in effect, employers are beginning to understand, but it's not yet happened, where you see employers do this for physical health, heart disease, for diabetes, et cetera. There are programs that are in place for employees. We need to start doing the same for mental health.
Sonya, can you share with the audience briefly your story?
Sure. My middle stepdaughter, she was in middle school at the time. She had a wonderful, beautiful child, very athletic, smart, the light of our lives. And when she got to the middle school, she started struggling with depression, lots of anxiety issues. She was for lack of a better word, a go-getter, very hard on herself when it came to her schoolwork and her grades, and always took things very personally. And she started struggling, and that anxiety and that depression, turned into self-harming. So she started cutting, and it was something that, Dad and I realized and just kind of found out about just from noticing her one day. Just why I always tell parents, watch your kids, pay attention to your children. Otherwise, you don't know. You don't always know what they're doing. So we discovered this and immediately went into panic mode, obviously being parents, where you don't know what to do, you don't know how to help. And I shared with Cynthia, you just get to this place where you just feel just inadequate as a parent. You feel like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Of course, along the way, the places that we thought that we could count on and the places that we thought we could turn to for help were the school districts and the church. And we quickly learned that those places were not the best places to turn to for help because they weren't fully prepared to deal with what we were dealing with. And so we continued to kind of fight that battle. And she went through many years of in and out of residential treatment facilities that are stabilizing facilities that treat your kids and send them back home after a 7-day stint, and the cycle would happen all over again. And it was a very daunting time. I am happy to say now, because when we talk about rewiring the brain, with the support of community, with access to care, something that I'm sure we'll get around to talking about, with screening and, just having that opportunity to help her figure out what it was that she was actually dealing with and ways that she could cope. She is doing much better now. It is still a struggle for her on a day-to-day basis, but she's in college now. She's doing, well, and we're, excited. But I want to share, if you have a child that is dealing with mental illness, it is something that you have to take seriously, and you have to get educated and take the time to find resources. I can share, I've gone full circle coming to work for Grant Halliburton Foundation because I found myself at one of the coffee day session, and it was at that coffee day session that I quickly found women who were going through what I was going through. I found women who knew resources that I had no idea about, and I learned about resources and quickly went back home and shared with my husband, guess what I learned today? We could call here, or we could call here, and because we were at our wits' end on what to do and how to get help.
Knowing what you know now, Sonya, what would you have told Sonya back then?
Oh, Cynthia, that's a loaded question. Probably not to beat myself up so much, because that's what I did. This was very hard. It was very hard on the entire family. Our marriage suffered. My husband and I were beating each other up, playing the blame game of you're not this and you didn't do enough of this. And the bottom line is that it wasn't us, right? It was this mental illness that she was dealing with. And once we got to the root of that and started to better understand mental illness, I come from a long line of family where this is not something you talk about. No. And if you do talk about it, maybe it's kind of joked about, in a way, that uncle that how he is, and it's
right.
Like, no, yeah,
right.
It's a joke, and that's what we had experienced. So, being able to share, and my family is close, and I still felt like I can't tell my family. And my husband and I are very much in our church, we're involved, and we felt like this is not something we can talk about. This is not, we didn't, the judgment, like what are people gonna say? What are people gonna think? And that's what was forefront on our minds.
This is so tragic, and this is what we, again, have to increase our conversation about. If you imagine two 15-year-old girls being taken to a pediatrician, and the first girl, the doctor says, your daughter has asthma, the mother is immediately going to say, what should I do? Another 15-year-old, the doctor says she has depression, the mother is immediately going to say, what did I do wrong? And that needs to change, because this is a brain disorder. When it happens, there may be many factors that get to that. Same thing with diabetes. It is diet and exercise and diabetes. So we have to change the vocabulary.
How do we change the vocabulary, Dr. Gomez?
What you're saying is a paradigm shift of how we look at health. It's not just the stomach ache and the backache, but we need to look at it as mind, body, and soul. It's all of these things that work integrally, but we have done such a great job as a society to dichotomize those two. If my head hurts, I go here, versus is there an emotion that I'm holding in my stomach, in my heart space? And then knowing what to do with that, how to work it out. You might go to a therapist, but guess what? Therapy happens in so many different ways.
If you can get to see a therapist,
well,
you can
that's
find
a whole
one
nother
and
issue
afford
of
one.
access. But it might be more playtime, going to camp. It might be going to church, going out with a friend, taking care of your body. I talk about it as the pyramid of health. How are you eating? How are you sleeping? And are you moving your body? And it's simple.
But this issue of if you can find a therapist and afford it is also a big issue, and it's a big problem, and it goes back to our funding sources, employers. You know, we have treated mental health as separate but equal. We tried it in education, didn't work, but we continue to do it for mental health. So the reimbursement structures for mental health are so different from physical health. And so we have to change that too. And it's a bigger challenge because there is not enough reimbursement for mental health resources.
We have a couple of minutes left, so I want to ask each and every one of you to finalize your thoughts and answer this one final question. We'll start with you, Gomez, work your way to Dr. Trivedi. What is the one thing we can all do individually to shift and create a thriving mental health culture around North Texas?
It's a great question, and no pressure going first, right? I want to empower everyone that it starts with us. It starts with walking the walk and asking yourself, what do I bring into every space I come into? It starts with that simple practice in the morning of, am I taking care of myself? Because I can't take care of anybody else. So it starts there with paying attention to mind, body, and health, and taking care of all those things. And it's going to take all of us coming together and talking about this. I often talk to my team and the entire clients that we serve about, it's okay to go see a mental health provider. If you ever meet a psychologist that doesn't go to their own therapist, run the opposite way, is what I'll say. So it starts with us, and it'll take all of us.
Agreed. Cynthia, I wish I could say that there was one thing. I think what we need to do, and I'll speak from, again, being an educator, but also being a parent, and talk about demanding better behavioral health care programs. We need more quality care for our children. We need more care, period. And then when we have that care, we need it to be quality care. And then we also need to help to build capacity of the nonprofits that are doing the work, that are on the ground day after day, doing the work that we are doing. Because without our nonprofits, this work it's not being done to the best that it can be.
One thing that she mentioned, I need to repeat it, and that is become informed and demanding consumers. Do not tolerate less than best care. One thing in my view is, I think just as we have all learned to recognize that an annual physical is necessary, we need to be recognizing that an annual mental health checkup is necessary, and that those should go together.
Yes, amen. Dr. Trivedi, Sonya, Dr. Gomez, you all have been very, very helpful, and we appreciate your time and your expertise today. Thank you for everything you're doing to better North Texas.
Thank you.
And I believe they have a gift for you when you exit the stage. I think I was supposed to give it to them, but I don't have it. Go ask Southwest Airlines. They're good at giving gifts. Well, on behalf of the Y, please accept our deepest appreciation for being here today. For our audience members, we recognize that this conversation is one of many that will help create a thriving mental health culture here in North Texas. At your table, you will find mental health services and programs that are available to you. We encourage you to use these and recognize mental health situations that may need medical attention. We again would like to thank our panelists for taking the time to speak with us today. We thank all of our speakers, our awardees, and partners who are doing great work to support North Texas communities. We'd also like to thank Southwest Airlines, once again for being our presenting sponsor, and DCEO Magazine for their media partnership. Please take a moment to recognize our sponsors with the following video, and we thank everyone for coming today. Don't forget, we have a date tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on WFAA Channel 8, and you will see yourselves on either 5, 6, or 10, so you'll have to watch all three. Thank you.